your first biker podcast choice, Law Abiding Biker. Oh yeah, ramp it up. Oh yeah, you better be out there riding. That's right, folks. Welcome back. All my fellow bikeaholics, so stoked you could be here. This is the podcast for the 99%. That's right, the motorcycle majority, the big MM. I hope you're riding your bike listening to this, or you're going to go ride your bike, or you just got off your bike, something like that, something that has to do with bike. Anyways, welcome everybody. This is Ryan Urlacher, your host of the Law Abiding Biker podcast, and your high-tech redneck. So glad you could check back in, and I got an awesome episode for you guys in the studio alone today. I'm going to do an interview, so hopefully you will like the interview. Going to get on the phone with Mike. Make sure I say it right. Actually, I say it in the interview, so let me just say it there. But Mike from Second Amendment MC. We are going to get into that interview in a minute, do a little housekeeping here up front. Just want to say, hey, to Mike, really appreciate it, and really appreciate him stepping up to the plate. And we've talked about it in past episodes, guys. Hopefully you're going to see how easy this is, and we're really going to start. We already had a platform here. We're going to start an even bigger platform, and that is like I did for, I believe it was back in episode 8, and that was an interview with the Tempest Riders, RC, and they have a permanent link on the Law Abiding Biker website. Now it's lawabidingbiker.com/Tempest Riders. So they can send anybody that might be interested in their club directly to that link, and that person can listen to the podcast, or they can send them to the episode number, which is 8 if they're in iTunes or something, whatever. But it's there, it's permanent. And what I'm doing with, and if you're listening out there, I need to get a hold of Kill Switch over there in Tempest Riders. If you're listening, buddy, which I know you're a loyal listener, if you could send me a little blurb on your club, basically what you're about, kind of, 3, 4, or 5 paragraphs, whatever. I'm having a Second Amendment MC do that, and I'm actually going to put it in the blog, and I will put it that, that it's approved to put in there. And so basically it'll be a little blurb about your club, and so when they go to that episode number or that permanent link, then there'll be not only the blog information there will also be a player there so they can listen to the podcast. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to make a page eventually when I get around to that, and that's going to be a page with all the clubs that are have interviewed, or when you do decide to interview, you'll have a page there, and you can go through and see all the different clubs that have been interviewed, the law-abiding biker clubs, and you can hit that club, and it'll take you directly to the blog, whatever you wrote about your club, what you want people to know, and it'll have, of course, the podcast there. So, yeah, guys, appreciate the, like I say, stepping up to the plate. Just get some balls. Yep, let them drop. It's okay. And I'm just joking around, but seriously, man, it's pretty painless, and I don't know why the platform's here. Like I say in the past, I don't know why it hasn't been taken advantage of, but I am stoked that people are starting to take advantage of it. Let's all get our word out there and kind of have a central place where everybody can learn about the different law-abiding biker clubs. With that said, enough rant about that. But seriously, get some balls, man. It's easy, super easy. You're going to see when I get Mike on the horn here. All right. Really stoked about some donations, of course, guys. Thank you so much. They keep coming in, and we really couldn't do it without the donations, of course. So I want to make a couple real quick thanks. Bob Wiltsey of Virginia Beach, Virginia. Thank you so much, brother, for the donation, and a very substantial donation at that. Thank you so much. And it's all because he watched the free HD Harley-Davidson rear wheel removal video on YouTube. And it said, he told me it saved him some money, and he liked the video, so he decided to donate. So a lot of people find us on the YouTube channel, and then hopefully they come on over to the podcast. So a link to that rear wheel removal is lawabidingbiker.com/rear wheel. And you guys, all our loyal listeners, pretty much know about that. John Helig of Waterloo, Illinois. Thank you so much, John, for the donation. And last, Scott, I think I'm saying it right, buddy, Dewar, D-E-W-A-R, of Champlin, Minnesota. Thanks for the donation. And again, this was because he watched the front wheel removal video, the free YouTube video. And he emails me back. He says, I was out in the garage cursing up a storm trying to put the front wheel back on when I found your video on YouTube. That saved my butt. Ryan, keep up the good work, buddy. Cheers back to you, Scott. And again, the video he's referencing, the free video, is lawabidingbiker.com/frontwheel. Thank you so much for those donation, guys. And if you want to donate, lawabidingbiker.com/donate. And we really appreciate it. We'll put it to good use, like some of the things we're doing, which is, putting this page up, hopefully, for the Law Abiding Biker Clubs and trying to do these interviews and things like that. I want to mention one tweet real quick, and it was a little while back, so I'm sorry. Shout out to Empire of Freedom, LEMC, and they shouted out to us on Twitter. Keep up the good job, guys. Thanks, Empire of Freedom, LEMC. Shout out to you. If you want to come on the podcast, hit me up, let me know, and we'll get your word out there. And they're on Twitter at EOFLEMC. I couldn't find their website, but I did. They are on Facebook and Twitter. So anyways, that was a shout out, and we shouted back to them. So if you guys aren't on Twitter, if you want to find us on Twitter, lawabidingbiker.com/Twitter or /Facebook or /Google Plus or all that good stuff. So anyways, like I say, this episode is dedicated. I'm not going to go on too long here. We're going to get right into the interview. Really cool. Talk to Mike. And like I say, I want to make sure, because I asked him in the interview, that I pronounce his name right. So it's coming up. And we had a nice long conversation, learned all about his club, kind of what they're about, some of the struggles maybe that they've been through and things like that. And hopefully we can all learn from it. I know I learned some things. He's also got some other cool stuff in there about, you'll hear him talk about a coalition that has been started, and I need to do a little bit more research on that, but some kind of motorcycle coalition that is for, the motorcycle majority, the 99%ers. But like I say, I'm not completely educated on it, but need to do a little bit more research on that. So here you go, guys. This is the interview. And like I say, listen and just listen how easy the interview is. And if you talk to any of these guys that have done an interview, I keep it low stress. I have some questions that I'll send you, some basic questions. I'm going to make it easy on you. But when it comes down to it, we just get on there and we just shoot the breeze. And it's kind of a snowball effect, and we just talk. It's just like you're talking. It's just basically being recorded, and super easy. And then, of course, I want to get some main questions asked. But other than that, super easy, super relaxed. He did an interview, and he used iPhone, or I guess he might have had an Android. I guess I don't know. But he did it on a headset. And Paul Pelland, if you listen to the Long Haul Paul interview, he did it on Skype on his iPhone. And he also used just a headset. So if you don't have any fancy equipment, at least if you have an iPhone with Skype or an Android with Skype and a good headset, you know what? It gets the job done. So don't think you have to go out and buy a bunch of equipment or $100 mics. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoy the interview. And after the interview, I will be back with you. Let's do this thing. On the line, I do have Mike Petry, and correct me if I'm wrong. Did I say it right, Mike?
Petry.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Mike Petry. That's my bad. And he is and correct me if I'm wrong again, but I believe national president of the Second Amendment Motorcycle Club. Is that your position?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Sweet.
And founder.
And founder. Okay, one of the founding members. Very cool.
Yes.
Now, Mike Petry, I really appreciate him being on here. And I will say, Mike, thanks for stepping up to the plate. And I have to say, you got balls, man. I appreciate it. Finally, a law-abiding biker club with some balls to come on, and we'll show everybody just how easy and laid back this is. So awesome deal, man.
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you betcha. So why don't you tell me a little bit, roll, a little bit about yourself, brother. You're a little bit of background, whatever you feel like telling, what you do, where you came from, prior military, anything like that.
Okay. Well, no, we're a Second Amendment. We're based in Columbus, Ohio. That's where the mother chapter is at. I'm a truck driver by trade. Went to college for police administration, 2.5 years out of Eastern Kentucky University. Just been driving truck right out of college and gained a lot of weight, and here I am.
Yeah, well, hey, I know about that club, brother. I know about that club. So you're from Ohio, huh?
Well, I was born in Ohio, but I was raised across the river in Kentucky. Went through high school in Kentucky, and hung out in Ohio because that's the closest town. After high school, moved to Eastern Kentucky University, went to college, and then moved back into Ohio. So that's where I've been for the last 16, 17 years.
Roger that. Now, what's the weather like over there right now in Ohio, man? Like today?
Today was beautiful. A little windy. We took a beating. We had about 11, 12 bikes to ride today on about a 200-mile ride. Took a beating with the wind, but as far as temperature and the sun was there, but it wasn't as like a small cloud. I mean, it wasn't cloudy, but it was just enough to keep it from bearing down on you. But it was a beautiful day, about 75, maybe pushing 80.
Awesome. Sounds about the same here. It was an awesome, beautiful day. Tons of riders. So you guys got a little ride in today, huh?
Yep, we planned. It was it's our first meeting / ride. We opened it up to the public. We had actually another guy, a potential, come in and ride with us. A couple guys that hasn't met each other. We had another chapter come from Portsmouth, Ohio, up to ride with us. So we had a good time. We went to the Hocking Hills area, which is for Ohio. It's the hilly part of Ohio. It looks like Kentucky, and there was hundreds of bikes out today. It was a beautiful day. Went out and had some barbecue and sat around and bulled with each other and took off on the bikes.
Sweet deal. Now, what kind of bike you rolling on there, brother?
I've got a 2012 Street Glide, Harley Street Glide.
Okay, sweet. 2012.
I wrecked it last year.
Oh,
yeah. Yep.
Uh-oh. Did you total it, or is this a new bike, or were you able to fix it up?
Well, they didn't total it. They should have. I had to have a new frame, so it's been completely rebuilt, I guess. But they went ahead and fixed it and paid the huge price to have it fixed. So
yeah. Wow, you come out of that fairly unscathed, or what?
Well, the right side of me took a beating. The left side, there was nothing wrong with my left side, but the right side took a beating. Road burn, dislocated shoulder, pretty good cut over my eye, and I was out of work for 6 months with the surgery on my shoulder. I tore my rotator cuff, and then it disconnected the bicep, I guess. They had to reconnect the bicep. But
oh, boy.
Other than that.
Wow. So you're one of those that have been down. You fall in that category then, huh?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. Most people are going to end up in that club. So, well, you mind talking about that a little bit? Was it just a four-wheeler pull out in front of your cage, or what?
Well, what happened, it was my fault because I was getting ahead of myself, and I had been getting ahead of myself all year, I guess. So I was attempting to pass a car on a 2-lane road. There was a car coming towards me, an oncoming car, so I got back over to the right, and then the car that I was attempting to pass went to hit his brakes. Well, I looked up, locked my brakes up, and I went to a slide. And then instead of hitting him in the rear, I went to the left. And then it was a convertible. And I remember screaming, wait, hoping this guy would just wait before he turned. But he didn't wait, and he turned right in front of me.
Oh, boy. You lay her down? You laid her down, obviously. Did you high side or anything, or just lay it down?
No, we made full contact, and we sort of bounced off each other.
Oh, boy. So you kind of did a Superman then, huh?
Yep, exactly. That's what the witness behind us, she said the bike went one way and you jumped the other way. Yeah. And I don't remember much about it. I was in and out of consciousness, I guess. I don't remember the ambulances coming. I don't remember the helicopter landing. I do remember them putting me in the helicopter. And I do remember having the medic take a picture of me in the helicopter. But other than that, I don't remember much about that.
Wow. Well, glad you're back in one piece, so to speak, and back riding, brother. Now, why don't you tell me a little bit, I guess, real quick, how you got a bike and stuff. You've been riding a long time, since you're a kid, or what? No,
about 5 or 6 years, I guess. Had a couple bikes before this one, before I got into the Harleys. But I was over the road as a truck driver, and I mean, we're talking 1,500 miles for the whole year, because I'd work on the road, and when I'd come home, it would be something I came home for, either a birthday or a kid event or something, or it rained. So I mean, putting the miles on the bike just never happened.
Sure.
So I stepped away from it. I sold that bike and stepped away, and then I came off the road, and I got somewhat of a local job, and with FedEx. That's who I drive for, FedEx. And then I started putting the miles on. So that's when I bought my first Harley, and I traded my first Harley in and bought this one, and then it's just haven't looked back. So I've been on the Harleys about 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Good deal, man. So at some point, it's fair to say, obviously, you got the bike you're riding, and you start thinking about club, right? And club, did you join another club, or did you just out of the blue want to start your own, or what?
Nope, I was actually invited to join law enforcement as a non-LE member. It was here in the Columbus area, and I was part of that. Very active, very involved, and to make it short, there was some internal issues with the national board, and so as a support to the national president, I sort of suspended myself from that club as well with him. There was some issues going on with him, and I basically backed him up and took a voluntary suspension from the club as long as he did.
Okay.
But then during that downtime, I mean, things just didn't work out, and they've actually disbanded the club altogether now.
Okay, so it was a smaller LE club, kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
okay.
Yep. We weren't real small. We had like 30, 40 members.
Okay.
They did split it into 2 different chapters, but it was a happening club, very involved with the community, and did a lot of good stuff. But just had some internal issues, and
sure.
So then I started listening to you this past winter, and I'm more on the idea of non-LE members being a part of an LE club.
Sure.
And that's coming from a non-LE that was part of an LE. So I could see where the conflicts and the issues arise with that. So.
Well, that's awesome, man. I had no idea about that. So yeah, so coming from you, being non-LE, and you actually had some insight and experience with coming into an LE. Is that correct? Kind of an LE club, and you saw some of those issues. Can you, if you can, it's up to you. Can you get into a few of those minor issues that you might think make it difficult if you have civilians in an LE club, or vice versa, or?
Yeah, it's mainly because you have a certain group of people. I mean, now don't get me wrong, everybody treated me wonderful. I mean, it really opened my eyes to their field.
Go ahead and say it, man. Cops are jerks. Yeah, you can say it, man. No, I'm teasing. Bunch of type A personalities, brother. Let me tell you, they're hard to deal with. I've never even. I guess because I went through high school, went through 2.5 years in college, and trying to get to that level, and life just didn't ever pan out that way. But I've never had a problem with law enforcement. Never. I mean, it just. But there are some jerks. Oh yeah. Let me tell you. You can say it here, man. We're pretty open and transparent. We got to laugh about it. You know that. If you have friends that are and stuff, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They're type A, and you kind of gotta take it with a grain of salt. That's for sure. Some of them.
Yep.
Oh, so you got into that club, and it sounds now that you say that club is no longer. Or they split up, or what?
Yes, yeah, there was some issues, and they disbanded. Now the members stayed in contact. I mean, they've actually went to another club, but there was just a couple issues that it's kind of hard without going into specifics and details. I'd rather not do that. But the club itself fell apart, but not the brotherhood of the members.
Okay,
it makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely, well said.
So there is a local chapter here of another club with just about all the members, minus a few. Okay,
yeah. Well, that's a common theme. So that's not a new story, So that's good. Sounds like they got it figured out. So that's the main key, and got their brotherhood going. So now so that didn't work out. Now, did you immediately say, okay, I gotta start a club of my own, or did you have some brothers? Or tell us how basically it's the Second Amendment MC. Tell us how that little thought started in your brain.
Yeah, well, actually, I was looking around me. I rode, without a club, and there's always somebody ride. I could always go ride with anybody out there, even the guys that were in the club and stuff. And my best buddy, he rides with me, but I missed that. I missed it, being involved with charities. I missed just the whole brotherhood part. I'm thinking, man, I've got to do something. I can't, it's just different. I miss being a part of that brotherhood. And a couple other guys at work, we were talking, and well, let's just do our own thing. I mean, I didn't really want to go that route. I checked out a couple of the different other clubs, and was thinking about starting a chapter. Just not really. I never could find one that was what I wanted. And I talked to another buddy at work, and he's like, well, let's just do it ourselves. And then that's where we came up with the idea of, there was three of us, and we all loved guns. It was a hot topic, fighting for our Second Amendment. So, the point was, we were going to have a non-confrontational Second Amendment support club, basically what it is. Another club, which has been disbanded since, so I can say something about it. They were Armed Citizens MC. Okay. And to me, that just it invited. It's like, hey, we're armed, So it was like an invitation for trouble, and I just didn't want that. And they required a CCW, which, Second Amendment isn't about CCW; it's about the right to bear arms, not just concealed. So
sure, yeah.
Some people don't want to conceal it. They don't have a desire to conceal, but they still want to support the Second Amendment. So we didn't go that route. So that's why I decided to do what we did. We came up with our own stuff and formed it ourselves.
Okay. Hey, sometimes that's the route to go, But now, when you were thinking about starting this club, and obviously now that other club, they are no longer, huh?
Right. Yeah. I've actually, was going to reach out to them and talk to them, and when I did, they were gone. And on their website, it says, we disbanded. So I'm not sure what happened, but they're no longer. So.
Okay. Now, you obviously, like you said, looked at some other clubs. I think that's pretty typical. Did you guys did it take a long time to decide, okay, we're going to do our own thing, and it's going to be, did you know what you were getting involved with, kind of, and was that a hard decision for you three founding members, right? What do you call them? The FF, something I read on your website?
Yeah, first founding members.
Okay, yeah. So tell me about that process. How long did that take, and was there a lot of, one of your friends going, no, it's too hard, or anything like that?
No, the two plus me, it was pretty much, let's do it. But to be honest with you, I'm a type that once I get something in my mind, that's all I think about.
I like that.
It is. And being a truck driver, we, like I said, I drive for FedEx. We get in the truck, we drive down the road. What do you have? You have dead time. All you don't hit nobody. But you're thinking the whole time, so my mind constantly just runs with ideas, and I tell people right up front, now if I bring something to you, like if I do an image on Photoshop or whatever, I go, if it's so good, just tell me, trash it. Because, I mean, I am constantly just messing with this stuff. I mean, just thinking ideas after idea after ideas. Some are garbage.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll get one like, hey, that sounds good.
Yeah.
But so I mean, I pretty much came up with the stuff, ran it by them. They both liked it. And honestly, with our bylaws, you know, I viewed a couple other bylaws, and I knew what I wanted. I knew how I wanted to happen. I wanted to avoid some conflicts that I had with the other club. So I knew, you know, to sort of mold that away from certain things, and just put them together that way. And it's just they're basic. They're nothing complicated with them. We don't want no drama. We don't want to micromanage the chapters. We just want to, you know, support the Second Amendment, have a brotherhood. We can say, hey, you know, I can call you up, and you know, you got my back. I got your back. Whatever you need, your family's sick, you know, kids sick, whatever, and just ride. That's all we want to do, just ride.
Absolutely.
And
real quick, Mike, before I forget about this, I was just curious, and then I do want to get back on the club stuff. Now, are you guys over there in Ohio, like us over here in Washington, open carry state?
We are an open carry state, yeah.
Yeah.
But however, you know, being on a motorcycle, you're considered inside.
Right. Same here. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Which I don't understand that, but
it doesn't make sense, does it? Yeah, we're the same way up here. But as far as open carry, if our listeners don't know, you know, basically here in Washington, it sounds like Ohio. You know, you can walk right down the street without a seat, without a concealed weapons permit, as long as you know the sidearm is in full view. Is that the way your interpretation of open carry?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
God bless Ohio. We're still good over here too. So, hey, I just want to do that real quick because I didn't want to forget about that. Now, so you're going with your club, and now you guys, you know, did you decide at that time, you know, what is you know, what is our membership going to be? Who are we going to allow? Is it anybody in your club, or is there, you know, tell me a little bit about, you know, what you need to be if somebody right now wants to, you know, join the Second Amendment MC?
Well, first you have to be 21 years old. We do have you know, be able to carry a gun at least. I speak English and be an American, but, you know, with the Second Amendment, so we can't really offer an international
Sure.
Chapters because, you know, they don't have a Second Amendment. So it's American based. And that's it. I mean, be law abiding. I mean, that's one thing that we require, that you have to be a law abiding, no felonies. Now, if something was besides a felony, like a misdemeanor from the past or whatever, we'll look at each case by case. And I mean, we're not going to
sure,
keep somebody from the club that, you know, just like any other thing. If
made a mistake, got a DUI, right. Yeah, exactly. That stuff happens, right. Man. I get that. Yeah, that don't mean you're not law abiding. That just means everybody right. makes mistakes. You know, yeah, it's if you keep doing it over and over. You know, yeah.
But other than that, you know, just 500 cc. We just want you to be able to keep up with us, maintain highway speeds without, you know, causing a nuisance, being a nuisance. And, you know, bike insurance. We invite women to come in if they have an endorsement and ride, and we don't. You know, it's just strictly family. Everybody's welcome. And that's it. I mean, just not a whole lot of stuff. Just be a good guy and drama free, and
amen to
right.
that. Yeah, drama free. That would be the key, man. Drama free. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, you guys obviously had to do like we did with our club, and tell me a little bit about. You guys are sitting down, I'm sure, together routinely. First of all, what was the inception date? You know, where you actually established yourself as a club?
Okay. Well, I put the bylaws together, and you printed everything out, and then we had the three of us had a meeting, and we all voted for those bylaws. So we voted to adopt the bylaws.
Now, how did you write those bylaws, brother? Did you do that yourself, or did you all three do it, or did you adopt, you know, kind of pick and choose from other ones, or how did that work?
You know, we do what we wanted, and I just had to find it. The wording itself was just, picked and choose for the wording. We didn't, I didn't go to the lawyer and have it done. So
Okay.
I'm sure if it ever came up to it that I would have to alter or have some holes patched in it. Like I said, we were not hardcore. So I just, I knew what I wanted. I did reword stuff that would benefit our side. But other than that, I went and choose. I got some from this one, got some of that one, and this one, and I like that, but I don't like that. I'm going to change that around. So a lot of it is copied and paste, to be honest, but a lot of it is altered and changed to meet our requirements that we wanted. And once I got that, I sent it to the other two guys. They looked at it, and then we met, and then we voted to adopt them. And we've actually had a couple of amendments to the bylaws that
I figured,
I've added on there. So, and that's going to happen. You're thinking, because like I said, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know everything. And then as it came up, like, well, this needs to be changed. So, but to get us started, that's what we did. Just and then from there, we added a couple. We added a sergeant at arms.
Was that one of your founding members? Sorry, was that one of your founding members that became sergeant at arms, or what?
No. It was we started out with Pres, VP, and the secretary. Well, actually, the treasurer. And I told him he was going to do the secretary too.
Sure.
But that's the one that actually stepped away. He met a woman. You know how that goes.
Oh boy, there we go. Yep.
Well, he was up here working, and then he met a woman back in his hometown, and then he left, and he just like, I don't have time. He's a good guy, and he still rides, and he just felt like it'd be better for him just to step entirely away. And then
you know what? I got to respect that though, because a lot of guys don't, and they, I've seen these clubs, and then a guy says, I don't have the time. I'd rather have him say that, I guess, than try to just come along on the coattails, I guess.
Right, exactly. And actually, from your podcast, that's something that I have, me and the VP has talked about. In the beginning, I was like, man, we got to get members. Yes,
we all fall in that trap, though, to a certain extent, so I'm glad you admit that, yeah.
Right, and then I told him, I was like, you need to listen to this podcast. I mean, when you were talking about your club, that episode, a couple of episodes ago, when you just talked about your club and the requirements, I go, you need to listen to this. This is what I want. I don't care if we have 4 or 5 members, but I want good quality guys, good members, and not worry about the quantity.
Hey, amen, man. Good for you.
So we've tightened it down a little bit. Luckily, we haven't had to, have any problems by opening it up in the beginning. So we're still good on that part. So we caught it before we had any trouble, but we're tightening it down a little bit, slowing down.
Sure. Hey, that's awesome though. Good for you, man, to take a step back, and realize that. So good deal, man. Did they buy off on it when they, listened? Is that something that they were like, yeah, it makes sense?
Yeah, they did. The VP did, especially. The rest of them were just like, sounds good to me. So
right.
Yeah, no, but on the other hand, see, we allow each chapter to do what they want to do. We don't micromanage. All they have to do is obey our national bylaws. They can add to that bylaws, but they can't take away the bylaws. And we also have in our bylaws where we, if they're going way off base, we can step in and say, no, we're not going to do that. This is almost something contrary to what we believe.
And that's you as the mother chapter, right?
Correct.
Correct. You as the mother chapter can step in and say, hey, whoa.
Right. Yeah. We have a Indianapolis chapter, which is great. I mean, I trust them. They can do whatever they want as far as I'm concerned, because I trust them just like they were part of the national board. I don't have to worry about, what they're doing. They've actually tightened it. They tightened it down before we did on the national level. They do the longer probationary period, and they don't get the patches out quick. So they actually tightened it down. So I'm really proud of them and gave them full reign so they can control their stuff whenever they want.
Oh, good deal. Now, you brought it up, so it's a good segue right in. What's the and then I want to backtrack a little bit. But let's talk about, since we're in it, your you obviously don't just from what I checked and stuff, you don't just let people in your club. You've got to do some sort of probationary period. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what that's about, man?
Yeah, for the most part, we as far as the probationary, it's individual per chapter. If someone comes in with their feet running and they get involved and they just, we're gonna let that slide a little bit. Like I said, we're not a hardcore. If for us to even invite you in, we already like you.
Okay.
So as far as that goes, I mean, we're going to play around with you, make you a prospect, which I told my prospect to wash my bike last night, and he didn't. So, but it's my stepson. So what can you do?
Oh yeah,
he's like looked at me and says, "I ain't washing your bike."
There's a month extension, yeah.
Yep, and I actually held his patch. We had his patch. I was going to give it to him today during the ride, but I held it. But but as far as that, I mean, 3 months. We like to see 3 months, from hanging around us and then coming on board. But like I said, we're laid back. We're not hardcore. If we like you anyways, that's why you're here. So. So as far as probationary stuff, I mean, it's really laid back and individually based. So, but on the other hand, that's one thing that we're looking at tightening down too.
Okay.
So that there may change a lot in the future.
Sure. Well, that's good. Always changing. We are too, as you learn new things. So nothing wrong with that. Now, chapter wise, you guys, you got a few chapters, and how far can you talk a little bit about, every club's comfortable with, what some clubs want to say numbers, some just want to say chapters. Just tell us whatever you're comfortable with as far as, where you're at and kind of your wingspan, so to speak.
Yeah. We got about 24, 25 members total. We've got 8 or 9 over in Indianapolis, which is called the Naptown chapter. We got in Portsmouth, Ohio is a chapter. Actually Portsmouth and into Kentucky. So we call the River Crew. And then we have the Columbus chapter, the mother chapter. But total with the Nomads, we have about 25 members total. And
okay.
Actually, I just responded to two different emails just before waiting on this interview.
Oh, sweet.
Potential. So we got another chapter maybe forming and a couple more Nomads coming on maybe.
Now, how does that, Mike, your chapter deal, okay, I get it. If somebody wants to, go to you in the mother chapter and, seek membership. Now, what about somebody that's out of the area, we have a, probationary type chapter, support crew. How do you guys do that if somebody is listening and that's interested in starting a chapter? Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah. As far as the chapters go, the board comes on full patched, with the chapter being on probation. So, they have to be together as a chapter. We required at least 4 with the board, president, vice president, secretary, and sergeant at arms. They can link the secretary and treasurer together, in the beginning, but we would eventually like to see that 5th, because that also gives a balance in voting. So it can't be lopsided. But like I said, with the chapters, we look at it as an extension of support of the Second Amendment. So with chapters, if we can get a chapter in an area that will agree to do our bylaws, to be represented as under our bylaws, we want them there, because we want them to be involved with guns, with supporting the Second Amendment, be politically involved on the activist side as well. So but as far as the requirement for it, that's all there is. So and again, that listening to your podcast, that may change as well. because I'm taking a lot of information I hear from you guys, and looking at our club as a whole, and seeing if there's something that we could implement that would make it better.
Sure.
So,
well, good deal. Now, I say, if 4 or 5 is good to start with. Now, you say, what if 20 came to you? Are you going to say, no, start with this many, and then if you want to bring them on later, you probably haven't had that, but what if you did? Is there a max that a crew could start, or what?
Well, you know what? We haven't really thought about that yet, because it hasn't really happened.
Sure.
Personally, I think that many would be a concern for me, and depending on how far they were from Ohio, because with that many people, I would definitely want to look at each individual a little closer, not just not just allow everybody to come on board. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So,
man.
4 or 5 who can handle that. I can do. And all we require really is their local police department background check and their driving record. But with a large group, I would definitely have to look at things a little closer, because I don't want I don't want my club to come down because of a couple bad apples.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, that's awesome that you talk about that. So you guys obviously are a law-abiding biker club here. That's, we've kind of made that apparent. Now, you do care about the, reputation of your club. And I read, and we'll talk about that a little bit. You sent a deal, I asked you to, about your club. And I'm actually from now on going to post that, and I'll get a little bit into that in a minute. But from now on, I'm actually going to post that with clubs that want to do an interview. I'll actually do a blog. So like yours, I'll just make a permalink for it, and a link. And so it'll have an episode number, but it'll be, lawabidingbiker.com/ and if this sounds good to you, it'll be 2AMC. Does that work for you? And that way you can send anybody you want, and it'll go right to that blog. It'll have your written documentation about your club, and they can listen to it right there. So I want to, throw that out there. And we did it for the Tempest Rider, so it's / Tempest Rider. So any clubs out there that, want to step up to the plate and do this real easy interview, we'll do a full blog, and the podcast there, and it'll be forever. And I think it'll be a cool deal. And I'm also going to make a page, Mike. I just want to tell you too, now that you're the second club that's done, and I think we're going to get more to step up the plate. I'm just going to make a whole page on our site that will have, each club, and then somebody can click on that. It'll take them to that exact blog and that episode. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It'll be pretty cool. All right, back on track. Sorry, I do that sometimes, man. You probably heard that in a podcast. I get off track. Okay, now, so we're talking about chapters a little bit. We got the probationary periods. Kind of as far as crews, sounds like the most you've had is really 5 that have come to you so far. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
A crew of 5.
To start, yeah.
Okay. Now, does the what am I trying to say? The support crews, do they have the same probationary period, or is it longer? Or how do you guys do that for a group?
What do you mean support crews?
Let's say a chapter wants to start up, and you've got 5 guys, and you're like, okay, do they have to? I take it they don't get their patches. Those 5 guys, do they have to go through 3 months or 6 months or anything like that as a crew before they get patched?
No, actually, I guess that's what makes it a little different. We actually give the first members their patches.
Okay.
And the board members their patches, and then put them on the whole chapter on probation.
Very interesting. I'd love to learn that.
And the reason why, because what it is, we're a 1-patch deal. So
you're a 1 piece, right? Yeah, looking at it.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So you really can't, either you got nothing or you got a patch.
Right.
So and then that's why now we have, like, our mother chapter has came up with a 3% brotherhood patch, and that is our ultimate brotherhood patch. Once you get that, you have been accepted 100% to our chapter. We have one chapter that went with the Side Rockers. I think they actually issue the side rocker and hold the back patch to their new members.
Okay, so you let each chapter really have control of that.
Yes, yeah. Like I said, that was one of the issues that I had with the last club, the micromanaging.
Okay,
I did not want to do that. I did not want that responsibility. I didn't want to be that anal with it. I just want them to. Here's our bylaws. If you agree with it, you can add, but you can't take away. And if I trust you to go ahead and to take off on this chapter, do it.
Right. Well, that's why I like learning about this. Everybody does it a little bit different, and it's very, very interesting. Now, okay, so they obviously get a lot of lead weight. Now, just to backtrack just a little bit, Mike, on did you guys have a lot of trouble designing your patch? It's a very good looking patch. Who did that, and briefly what was involved with that?
Well, I did it. Like I said, I'm man, I got an itch in my throat. Excuse me.
That's all right. I take it you must be a little bit of the high-tech redneck of your club.
Yeah, I'm definitely the high-tech.
Attaboy.
Definitely. I'm anal with it. And there's sometimes when you're talking, I'm like, what? Apple? iPhone? You're crazy. I can do circles around with my Android. Yeah.
I love it. We got to bust people's balls about that stuff. Good times.
But yeah, it was me. I designed a patch. I designed a bunch of them actually. And our first full meeting with the board, I had them all printed out, and we looked at it, and they was like, "Well, let's do this. Let's try this." And then the first meeting we had, I threw it all them out on the table. And we like this one. And then I took that one away. Then I was like, everybody's in favor of this one, and we chose that one.
Well, it's definitely a good looking patch. I'm looking at it here online.
Well, thank you.
Now, obviously, your patch, along with like ours, it means something. Do you want to talk about what it means?
Yep, sure. Second Amendment's got the guns. It's got the flag, which I almost had an issue with the flag because of just the American flag being used for something other than a flag, but we went ahead and went with it. The skull represents the people that died for our freedoms in our Second Amendment and our forefathers. The eagle with the feather,
and that's kind of I'm looking. That's I'm looking. The feather's kind of draped over if you're looking at it, the right side of the skull and the eye. Okay. Yep.
That represents the Indians. Let the government take care of you, and we see how that worked out for them.
Okay, yep.
And the guns for the Second Amendment, and that's pretty much it. And the red, white, and blue, we all know what that stands for.
Yeah, absolutely.
And actually, the VP requested the eagle, something to represent the Indian side, the Native American side. So that's what we put the eagle on, and everybody liked it, and that's what we did.
And it's kind of, for the listeners, it's kind of, if you'll have to go to this blog, I'll put a picture of it. Again, it'll be lawabidingbiker.com/2, the number 2, AMC for Second Amendment Motorcycle Club. And it's kind of, the whole patch is kind of it's kind of like a traditional, kind of like you see on an arrow, I guess, kind of a triangle a little bit, but a rounded triangle. Yep. Yeah. And now that patch obviously goes on your back. What do you guys wear? Do you wear anything on your front? I was looking at you on Skype here. It looked like you had some position patch and stuff on your front.
Yeah, we use the name, our road name, our title, our rank, what we do, who we're with. Like mine says national, and I'm also original member, so I have original tab. But someone coming in now, it would be their road name, their rank. What would I say? The chapter they're in, either Naptown or Rear Crew, whatever, and then whatever. If the chapter has something special for them only, they would whatever right there. But that's the only thing on the. See, it'd be on the right side. The left side, most of us have the American flag. Our chapter was recently voted to keep the colors intact, red, white, and blue. Some of the guys have the black flag, some of them have the all red flag. But we decided to keep the colors intact, red, white, and blue. So other than that, I mean, the only thing we require as far as the clean slate is the back, that back section, with an exception of our patch, the 3% Brotherhood patch, which is directly below the back patch. And I'm not saying that the other chapters can't add to that, but we definitely want to keep one patch on the back to keep the back patch by itself.
Okay, yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, they can add something on the bottom if they want, just like we have. But as far as cluttering up the back, we don't want that. So we want to keep it clean back there.
Okay, cool. Now, starting your club, was it if somebody else is out there listening and wants to start a club, is it more expensive than you thought, or more difficult than you thought, or less?
Well, it was it was time consuming and kind of expensive getting everything started. And we've actually, someone reached out to us and was wanting to use our bylaws. And
okay.
I was like, well, that was kind of a strange request. And I'm like, well, why are you doing this? We consider a chapter, because it was pretty much the same as ours. But creating the file for stitching, that's expensive.
Yep.
So I mean, all that was kind of a shock to me to get that set up. But as far as starting a chapter, we don't charge nothing for the chapter. All we charge is a yearly fee, which is very minimum, and whatever it costs to make the patch. We don't upcharge on the patch. We just the patches come through me. That our maker doesn't print our sew our patch to anybody. So I had to make the order.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're the same way. We have one guy, and he knows who we are, and he would not give it to anybody else. So good for you. That's a good thing for the listeners to know. Yeah. What as far as 501c nonprofit, did you guys go that route? Are you going that route, or you just don't?
Well, we haven't done it yet. I definitely want to look into that. And honestly, our first year, I wrecked in July, so I was pretty much out of commission for half that year. Now we do have a chapter that has an LLC.
Okay, so you one of your that's what I'm curious about. Yeah, some guys go LLC, and then some. We're doing the nonprofit, but we went through LegalZoom, and it's not their fault. It's just the state of our leadership right now in this country, and it has been held up, and we're still waiting for the final word. So it is a pain.
Is that for the 501c or the LLC?
Yeah, no, the 501c.
Okay.
Yeah,
I heard that was a bear.
Oh my God!
Every I's got to be dotted, every T's got to be crossed.
Oh yeah,
you have to go back and make sure you did it right.
Yeah, and then we don't know where it is. It goes up there, and then they hold on to it, and we're going to do an episode on that coming up. But once we actually get blessed to be official, but it's been quite a while, and we're still waiting on that. So LLC route, huh? Very, very interesting.
Yeah, that's what they did, and I think mainly for rides, just for they don't want to have any issues if they put a ride together and something would happen.
Sure.
So I mean, the release forms only go so far. So
right. Well, that's a good way to look at it. So, but you guys are neither right now, just kind of waiting to figure out what you're going to do.
Right. Yeah. The mother chapter, like I said, the other chapter just sort of almost passes up. I'm gonna better watch it. They might take over.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. As far as the mother chapter, we're still waiting. We're just I'm not sure what we're gonna do. I really need to look at the 501c. But like I said, I was out of commission for a while, so everything club related except for me surfing and pushing things. I mean, but as far as doing actually the housework for it, I was kind of slowed way down when I crashed.
Sure.
is laid up for 6 months. And if you ever have a surgery, do not have a rotator cuff surgery. That is the most.
Yeah.
Oh my God! For 2 months, I couldn't move.
Oh boy, that doesn't not sound fun, man.
Every movement you do moves your shoulder, and you don't realize that until you can't move it.
Oh boy, probably just coughing makes it hurt if you sneeze or something. I mean, that does not sound fun.
Yep.
Now, Mike, what as far as your guys' you got this club together. You're obviously very Second Amendment, and I am too, and that's awesome. Now, what would you say your clubs? Do you guys raise money for Second Amendment type stuff, or what? I mean, or do you raise money for other charities? What's your role as far as your mission, as far as fundraising, if you do any of that?
Well, so far we haven't raised any money for any Second Amendment issues. Basically, just spreading the word about that. I definitely want. I have actually plans for training sessions with weapons.
Oh, cool!
I want to bring in, which I actually have a member, not a member, but a guy that I know that was in another club with me, has agreed to come in. He's a SWAT member, which is north of us, and he's agreed to come in and give us some a training session with some just talk to us about the safety aspects of weapons, and
awesome.
Just a fun time. Just tell some stories and just have fun. But as far as the runs we've done, we've helped. We actually have an honorary member, Colton, over in Indianapolis. He has some health issues. So we the Naptown guys over there, they got a patch made for him and made him an honorary member. So we got a brother, over there that's having some issues. They raised a lot of money for them. And we had another member, his father has kidney, needs a kidney transplant. So we raised money for him. So we're not strictly Second Amendment issues. I mean,
okay,
fundraising
sure.
part, but we want to affect everybody. Anybody that we feel that has a need that we can help. That's what we're going to do. And it doesn't help to be able to spread the word about the Second Amendment. Guns is not bad. There is a group of people that use guns for bad things.
Right.
But most of us that have guns, carry guns, we do it for security of our safety and our family's safety, not to be a big shot or to threaten people. Right. And that's one thing we want to put out there as well. We're Second Amendment. We ride bikes, so we have a club. But we're good people.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, man. Well said. And I'll just tell you straight up, dude, what's better than motorcycles and guns together?
I know.
You already got the motorcycle, you add the gun, all you need is a cold beer then, man, and it's America. Straight up, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you put the two together. Nothing wrong with that, man. I like it.
Not at the same time, though.
You're right. Yeah.
And
right.
actually, that's actually an issue with us because we can ride, and not to intoxication levels,
right,
or even a buzz level, but riding out and having a cold beer, getting back on your bike and riding home is
we do that. Yeah.
But if I'm carrying, that cold drink's got to be a Coke. You
guys can't even have a
Nope.
beer. Oh, see, over here you just can't be intoxicated. But you can if you have beer on your breath, it's no big deal as long as you're not driving drunk or you're affected, I guess, drunk.
Yeah. No, once we have that drink of beer, it's our CCW permit.
Wow. Okay.
So,
well, yeah. Well, you got to be careful. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. So, it's iffy. So it's actually kind of, like, do I carry or do I have a beer?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So I think we're going to have to designate someone like, okay, everybody break their guns down, ammo in this bag, guns in this bag. And next week you can do it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, see, that might have to become a bylaw, man.
Exactly.
Oh boy. Now, when you're talking about your guys' club and your different chapters, do you guys have like for people listening that are interested in your club, do you have a particular amount of events that have to be made, or a particular you have to make 50%, or what's up with that, man?
Well, we've actually talked about this. It's actually been voted on, but we haven't really enforced anything because I haven't seen an issue yet. We were going to require a certain amount of runs, like three to four, I believe the number was, that you have to have 3 or 4 sanctioned events in. We don't want you to just say, "Hey, I'm part of a club, give me my patch," and we don't hear from you.
Right.
But we're all busy. As far as a lot of the guys that in my chapter, a lot of us work at FedEx. So, and we work, 50, 60, sometimes pushing 70 hours a week. So if you can't make it to something, that's fine. Just get the next one, or whatever. So it hasn't been an issue, but we did vote on it, and each chapter has that they can say, well, this is going to be a section event, and this is going to be a section event. And normally reserved for the larger, important runs. Like if you are hosting a run yourself, that's going to be a sanctioned event, of course. We want everybody to show up for that. We don't want to have an event and 2 guys show up.
Yep.
So that, as far as that goes, it's been voted on, but it hasn't really been put into play because it hasn't been needed yet. So, but that's what we're thinking. We have a certain amount of sanctioned events, and you have to attend X amount of events.
Okay.
To maintain your status.
Right. Yeah. I think that's a good move too. Yeah. Cause eventually, it seems like, you always get somebody that might not be as involved as others. So,
Right.
What is, your guys, as far as voting, if you want to talk about that a little bit? Every club does that a little bit different. Is it just, when there's an issue on the table, is it majority 50%, or is it, 2/3 vote, or you guys have anything like that?
Well, as far as the mother chapter goes, anything that is done on the national level that will affect the whole club, I want everybody. I mean, everybody has to agree with it.
Okay, so 100%, huh?
Yeah. Removing a member is 100%.
Okay.
But other than that, I mean, the majority, I think, would rule. Like on minor things, the majority would be a positive vote for it. Again, it all goes back to the problems that I had with the other club. So and that's one thing that I wanted. To remove a member, everybody has to agree to remove a member, and if the person don't, let's talk why. So if there's reason that for someone to not want to remove that member, it has to be panned out. We have to talk about it. We have to be adults to come to a unanimous conclusion. I don't know. I just think that's the best way to go for us.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't see any problem with that. That's a pretty serious deal. Yeah, removing a member. So,
right.
Now,
haven't had to do it yet, so.
Yeah, well, that's good. Yeah. I hope we don't have to either. And that, like you said earlier, that's the deal. Is if you do your homework up front, you hopefully never will have to run into that. If you don't let them in first of all, if you figure them out before, then it saves headaches down the road. And I think we touched on that a little bit. Do you guys have any big yearly rides? I know, like us, not everybody can go, but that you try to, go cross country or anything like that? Do you guys do that as a club, or?
Well, not yet. I think a lot of us are going to try to get to Washington D.C. for the Rolling Thunder this year.
Yeah, cool.
We were going to ride out to Oklahoma. I'm not sure if you've been following what's going on, but there's a group called the Alliance. It's for the law enforcement, EMS, military, and any law-abiding club. And
I have not one. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, bro, because I read it in your email. But yeah, I'm glad you remembered that.
Yeah.
Go with it.
They're actually having their national rally in Ada, Oklahoma, and I was going to do that, and a bunch of us going to ride out. Then my work, to get days off is complicated, and it's the same weekend as our truck driving championship. So a lot of drivers are already off, so they won't let anybody off that weekend. So I would actually have to call off and take a few points, which was, jeopardizes your job. So I felt that it was just, I just couldn't do that right now. But that was going to be a ride. Then we went back to the Washington D.C. So we're going to try to get to Washington D.C. We got a couple of them going down to the Dragon in Tennessee. But as far as cross country, no, we haven't planned anything like that yet.
Okay.
But we all like to ride, and we're all going to, Indianapolis has come over here. We plan to go over there this year a bunch of times. I know Warm with Nomads from Louisiana, he's coming up here to go to Washington, D.C. with us. So we're not afraid to jump on the bikes and take off. Yeah,
awesome, man. What is that, what can you just brief on that a little bit, the coalition thing for the listeners?
Yeah, it's called the Alliance.
Oh, Alliance, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, the Alliance. It's we are going to take away protocol. I think that the main goal is to remove the criminal element from the biker protocol.
Okay.
That makes sense? I mean,
yeah.
Why should the 1% tell the 99% what they can and cannot do as far as club, as far as wearing patch? We don't want to cause any trouble, but we want to have a group of clubs, which is so far it's huge. We got clubs from all over the world, all over the country that are coming together and contributing to the bylaws, contributing to the mission statement. It's pretty amazing to watch it unfold. But we got a lot of good people that are coming together, and on my vest there's an Alliance patch, and when I see that Alliance patch, I know that I'm in safe waters, so to speak.
Sure.
And that was the whole point of it. Not to form a big coalition to as backup, so to speak, but just to know that we're in safe. It's going to change. We're going to change the biking industry for what it really is.
Sure.
And also right now, and again, not to step on any toes or to overspeak, what I know about it. There's another group out there that is ran by not so favorable clubs. And we want an alternative for the law abiding clubs, the Christian clubs, the law enforcement, the EMS clubs. Instead of going to that group, feeling like they have to go to that group and ask permission, they can come to Alliance.
Did you start Alliance, man?
No, I did not.
Okay, so somebody else is doing that? All right, so minor technical difficulty. We got disconnected there. Mike, you're back on. My last question was the Alliance. Is that your deal, or did somebody else create that?
No, that's someone else's creation. I guess this is their second year. They haven't really voted anything in yet. They're actually going to do that in the rally in June. So I guess in the past year they've been developing the ideas, bringing them together, and coming up with bylaws and stuff like that. But I've actually sent a message to them. They may be contacting you for an interview as well. And I thought that'd be great for them to get their name out there with speaking with you guys.
Absolutely. I'd love to do that. So yeah, if they're listening, hit me up, Ryan at lawabidingbiker.com, and we'll get them on here. So very cool. So called the Alliance, if you guys want to check that out. Now, Mike, to kind of, wrap things up a little bit, what do you want to get out there, about your club to people as far as, anything, I missed, important points, anything like that? You got the floor, man.
Okay. Well, basically, we like to say a bunch of guys that like to ride, like our guns. We believe in the Second Amendment. We believe in that. Most of us believe that someday you guys will have a tough job. And what I mean by that is, as a police officer, you're going to have to make a decision. Do I follow company policy or do I follow Constitution? that, and I don't want to be in that position, and I I hope you guys make the right decision when it comes down to it, but it's going to be tough because gradually taking away our Second Amendment is a lot easier than just all of a sudden calling everybody and say, hey, get the guns. Um, that gradual, we're going to wake up and say, whoa, we were just following orders.
Right.
So I don't. I mean, I'm glad I don't have to make that decision, but that most of our guys believe that there will be a time that we'll have to stand up for our Second Amendment, and I just hope it's not a violent way.
Sure.
And one of my fears is keeping this a law-abiding club when that happens.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's a good thought. Yeah. Are you law-abiding then, or are you not? Because it's a constitutional right. Oh boy, man. Yeah, we could have a couple beers over that one and get real deep, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We can have a couple.
Yeah. A couple. Exactly, man. Well, now if guys want to, get in contact with you, what platforms do you get? It looks like you got your website up. You do that, I take it.
Yep, I run that. I do that.
What's the URL? What is the address for our listeners, man, for your website?
www.2amc.org.
Okay.
And if you wanted to spell it all out, it's secondamendmentmotorcycleclub.com.
Okay.
And we got, I got a lot of the feeds coming in from the Buckeye Firearm Association, NRA. Got a feed from your website updating anybody that comes to our site if there's a new podcast out.
I saw that, man. Thanks. Yeah, it's an RSS feed right on your homepage. Appreciate it.
Yep. And actually, I'm going to have to shrink it down one of them because I got the motorcycle events at the bottom, and for the winter time, I shrunk it down to like 4. I want to bring that up a little bit just so it's right because it's riding season. So, but yeah, I mean, we're on Facebook, Second Amendment Motorcycle Club. We got all of our chapters have pages. Even the Nomads has a fan page, or no, they may have a user page, but the main page is a fan page. You can just go there and like it. You don't have to request friends, but each chapter has one as well.
Okay.
Twitter, we're hitting them all. Trying to. Our Twitter feed actually updates our web page on our events. So anytime I'm on the road, I can hit a tweet and it will update the events page on my website.
Absolutely, good way to go.
So, yeah.
Awesome, man. So Twitter, Facebook. I've got some different, and of course, if you guys just go to 2amc.org, and they've got their Facebook and Twitter, and they got all their quick links up there. I'm looking at it now. So yeah, good looking site, man. Good and clean.
Thank
I like it. Yeah. All right, man. Well, really appreciate you hanging out with us, man. And stay on the line and ride safe over there, man.
All right, man. You too.
All right.
Take care.
Well, guys, hope you enjoyed that interview. I know I did. It was very educational for me, and I learned a lot. And I want to thank Mike very much from Second Amendment MC for stepping up to the plate and, getting out here and putting it out there, using the platform, the free platform, let me remind you. Yeah, guys, let them hang, man. Let them hang, let them drop. It ain't no big deal. It's easy, as you saw. Now, a lot of information there, guys, and Mike talked about the Motorcycle Coalition. And like I say, I'm not 100%, but when I'm recording this, I need to do a little more investigation, or really not investigation, but I need to do some more research. And hopefully, in an upcoming episode, I will have that information for you, and we can figure out exactly what that's all about. But very interesting point he brought up. So, very cool stuff. Oh, excuse me there. Had a little throat bubble. And a head cold in the spring. I don't know who gets a frickin' head cold in the spring. I got that. So, yeah, good times. But anyways, guys, thanks so much. And again, as always, thank you for your support. My call to action today for you is to go to lawabidingbiker.com/iTunes and just take a minute. It'll take you right there. Please give us a little written review and a rating. 1 through 5 stars. That's my call to action. Just take the minute and do it. And if you don't listen on iTunes, you can still subscribe there. It really helps us in our rankings. If you listen on Stitcher, if you're on the Android platform or another one like that, you can go to lawabidingbiker.com/Stitcher. Yeah. Get out there and freaking ride, man. Seriously, guys. Lab Podcast phone number, 509-731-3548. Or you can leave us an internet voicemail, which is really cool, lawabidingbiker.com/voicemail/voice message. Of course, you can email or voicemail us at lawabidingbiker.com/contact. Oh, guys, don't forget, get into that free Law Abiding Biker email club. It is completely free, no spam, guaranteed. I hardly even send anything out, but when I do send something, hopefully it's pretty cool. Free video or a new for sale video, and I give coupon codes, all that kind of good stuff. lawabidingbiker.com/email club. You guys are the bomb, and ride safe out there, guys. Keep the rubber side down, and the shiny side up. We'll catch you next time, man.
Thank you for listening to the Law Abiding Biker podcast. Please listen to our next episode.